Hello, what's up, good people? Good to see you once again. Now that you're facing tough economic times, now today you're focusing on the positive aspect of it because I always tell you, in every storm, there's always a good and bad news. Now, the question is this: what are these some of the best businesses that you can be able to start that are actually profitable on these trying times? All right, because let me tell you one thing: each and every moment there is an opportunity, and if you're wise, you can tap it and turn it to your own advantage. And guess what? On this video, or rather on this channel, I always share good vibes and good things that you can always be beneficial to you. And I'm worried because I don't want you to miss any of my future good videos. I want you to do this. It's fast and it's free. Just down there on your right, there is a button written subscribe. It is in black. If you hit that button, and then on the left, there is a like button. If you hit those two magical buttons, guess what happens? You get to be notified by the YouTube when Good Joseph uploads a good video. I do so each and every day in the morning. All right, so let's get into today's business. Now, we are facing tough economic times. That's for sure. We cannot disagree with it. And by the way, bust the bubble. It's not only in Kenya, but the entire world is facing these tough economic times. Now, and I always say, as an investor and as a smart person who knows how to work with money, you should always look at the opportunities, tap it and turn it to your own advantages. There is something that you should know when it comes to tough economic times. I always say that human needs are classified into three. All right, there's what we call the must have. These are the things that you cannot negotiate with. Number two, we always what we call the good to have. These are the things that it's good to have, just like the name suggests. And then number three, we have what we call the nice to have. Whenever we are facing tough economic times, we usually tend to cut two things. Number one, we cut the nice to have, and we cut the good to have. We remain with what? You're correct. We remain with what we call the must-have. And the must-haves falls under what we call the clothing, the shelter, and the food. Those are the things that people focus on. We usually advocate what we call the marginal propensity to save. Forget about the big name. That means that people tend to consume less. They tend to receive or rather retain more money, or just they save a lot just because they prospect that maybe in future life might be tougher. So this is what you're supposed to know. You cannot negotiate with food, you cannot negotiate with shelter, and you cannot negotiate with clothing. All right, so as a business person, you already know where I'm heading. Number one, you have to put up businesses that are related to food related businesses. All right, and this at this particular point, of course, you have to be affordable, because in our country and in Africa at large, we deal with what we are price oriented. That means that whatever you're selling, we are price conscious. All right, in most cases we can just violate what we call the quality, but the price has to be good and has to be friendly, and of course the quantity has to be there. So that means that you can start a business related food related business. And when I say a food related business, I cannot be able to mention all of them. You can just look around from where you live in and actually ask yourself, what are the challenges that they facing? Are you running out of portion milk? You can start one. Are you running out of, let's say, a cereal business out of where you're living? You can tap on that. Are you living in an area whereby we have a lot of like construction sites and some sort of businesses, but we don't have enough hotels or something? And if we do, then they don't offer that price oriented kind of products or services. All right, so those are the things that you're supposed to look around and actually tap onto that and start like a small business from there. And I always say this: it's not a must that you have yourself like the biggest amount of money. You can start yourself with the smallest that you can. I always say that the businesses is classified into three. You can start a small business, a medium business, or a big business. So when I talk of a butchery, it can be of 100,000, 300,000, or even 2 million. So it depends on where is your capacity. Tap into that and then move along with it and actually to form a business out of it. All right, so now we go to option number two. Option number two, there's one thing that you should know. Whenever we have tough economic times, there is something that usually comes along with it. Number one, there is a lot of broken marriages, a lot of disagreements in home, and a lot of people facing stress and depressions and what have you. So if you have a career, or if you have a career that is oriented towards or maybe revolves around advising people, telling people this is what you're supposed to face the tough economic times and what have you, don't leave all these jobs to the pastors and the priests and what have you. Even you can make money out of it. All right, this is time that you talk to people, move along and tell them, hey, you know what, we're facing tough economic times. This is what you can do. This is how you can manage your money. All right, because at the end of the day, people need to be talked to, people need to be advised and told this is what you can be able to do, so that you don't get yourself into more messy than you are right now. If you're an economic advisor, if you're a financial advisor, you can advise them. Tell them, hey, you know what, you are supposed to save 20% of whatever you're earning out there. By the way, that's exactly what I'm doing right now. I tell you, you're not supposed to do this, you're supposed to do the other, you're supposed to take this opportunity, tap this, that kind of a things. Because at this particular moment, people want to hear, or rather, people want to be talked to, people want to be listened to. Because actually, right now, as you're facing these tough economic times, there is an inflation. Actually, our inflation right now is 9.2%. That means that a lot of things that are increasing at a rate of 9.2% basically mean, like, if last year you had like 100,000 in your bank, you lost a whopping 9,200 just like that. All right, that literally means that things are actually increasing in terms of pricing, but your salary is remaining constant. That's why people are facing tough economic times, and people don't want even to shed what we call the normal or the comfort zone. So if you have a career around that specific thing, then you can be able to go ahead and tap that opportunity. All right, and number three, you are supposed, or you can be able to go ahead and start what we call the buying properties. If you're out there, you have the financial muscle, these are the best time to buy financial properties. You know why? A lot of people have turned away from that. People are not even thinking about buying plots, people are not thinking about buying mansions and the homes and what have you. These are the time people are actually trying to save that little that they have, so that they are anticipating that the future might be tougher. So at this particular moment, and by the way, these are the occasions that when we say that the rich become richer. Somebody have some couple of millions in the bank, you can just go ahead and, let me tell you one thing, right? This world that you're living in, it's all about competition, and if you have that capacity, go ahead there. This is the time to build, this is the time to, buy those properties and actually get yourself started. Maybe it has been the time that, by the way, you can just make a call and ask or inquire that place that you had asked about a property, and get to see whether the price is remaining the same. There is one thing that I realized. Whenever we're facing tough economic times, these are skyrocketing in terms of pricing. You find that the real estate usually comes down, all right? Because you find, like, people don't find it so necessary as of now to invest in that. They usually find it necessary to invest on their kids in terms of school fees, in terms of their schooling, in terms of their healthcare, in terms of all those areas. But when it comes to real estate, people tend to turn away from it as of now. Now that is the best time for you to do that, because you know why? These issues about recession and tough economic times, they are things that never last forever. After some times, everything recoups back and demand goes ahead and supply are the same. The demands will one day rise, and that means that the property that you bought at a way discounted price then at that particular moment, then you can be able to make that what we call the capital gain. And by the way, those are just but 3 examples of the businesses that you can be able to start at these trying times. And guess where I'm getting those businesses? I'm getting them from my books that I've prepared I myself about the business ideas and the business plans. And you can get them, all right? It's only $220 a copy. I get my number from the description of this specific video. Text me on WhatsApp, you get your copy, all right? So those are the things that you can be able to do at this particular moment, so that you don't get yourself into mess. Don't be this kind of people who, or among the people who are saying that you're facing tough economic times, we can do nothing, we actually gone, or everything is dusted. I don't know. Don't focus on that specific thing. Focus on the positive vibe and move to the next level. If right now, if you were to go to a car yard where people are selling cars, you find somebody buying a car. If you go to a place where people actually, if you go to a hardware, basically people are buying like steels and metals and what have you, just construction materials, you'll find those people doing so. So that means that stop complaining and look at the opportunities, what the occasion is providing you with. That's how you do it. All right. So anyway, if this is your first time, this is the first time you're seeing this face, my name is Joseph. Talk about money, talk about investments. I'm just a guy with a camera and a good fair share of money knowledge. So I'm here to share with you, and I'm also a believer that you have something that I can also learn from. That's why I'm calling you to comment down below and tell me what you think, and how are you faring up in these tough economic times, and what advantages have you taken, and perhaps maybe I've left some behind out there. You can put it down there on the comment section and get to see. Perhaps we can be of help to each other. By the way, I'm a believer. Just like an iron sharpens another iron, so do we learn from each other. That's how we do it, and that's how we do it in this Good Joseph channel. If you perhaps you've watched this video to this particular point, I just want to say thank you. Make sure that you hit that subscription button so you don't miss any piece of my good videos in the future when I upload them, because I do each and every day in the morning. So you don't miss a piece of that. So this is how you're gonna do it. You just hit that subscription button on your right. This is free and fast, and you hit that like button out there, and you turn that notification bell so you'll be notified when I upload a new good video. All right, so for now, it's a goodbye. See you there. And by the way, don't forget to check my number on the description of this box. Talk to me about my financial things and talk to me about booklets. For now, it's a goodbye. See you there.